Hi, welcome back to the workbench. I'm actually taking a look at the McSega again. I found something very strange with one of the units, so I was going to see if I could repair it. I'm not sure if that's possible, but I thought I'd show you all what it is, and we'll take a look and see if we can make it work. If you enjoy these videos, please think of giving us a subscription down below and give it a thumbs up. Thank you. What I noticed on this, and you'll see it on the one on the left, is if you start both these up, obviously, there's something wrong at this. It's going far too fast. I'm assuming that it might be burned out resistor or capacitor causing a problem on here. There really isn't much else that could be a problem. I checked the battery voltages, and those are the same, so it's not some kind of weird timing issue related to the input voltage. So let's take a look inside this thing and see what's going on there. I think what I'm going to end up having to do is replace the resistor on here. The only thing I can think of is for some reason it's not getting a proper amount of resistance across the circuit that it's expecting, and that's causing the timing to go askew on it. Other than that, it might be something internal with the system on chip, the blob right there. And if that's the case, there's nothing anybody's doing for it. So as you'll see from the website, if you take a look at the different designs internally on these that I put up, they did have quite a range. I was surprised to find out they weren't just a cookie cutter design with the same internals on a bunch of different boxes. That's kind of what I would expect, but they didn't even look like they were the same manufacturer in some cases. So I'm not sure how these were designed, if they were sent out to multiple different companies and then they came back and reworked them. All right. So there's our two resistors. Wait. Two capacitors, C1, C2, and a single resistor labeled, is it labeled? Okay, the label you can't see on here, but it's 564 for the resistor, and that's 560 kilo ohm. So 56000, 4 zeros. And I don't have any resistors are rated that, so I'm going to see if I can just resolder this and see if that'll work. I don't think that's going to solve the problem, but it's always worth a quick check. And that solder does seem a little crusty. Okay, putting a little bit of Kestra on there. And we'll see how that does. It's not really liking the solder either. Now let's see how that joint looks. And I can test out that resistor now that it's off the board. All right, that looks clean enough to work anyway. Let's test out that resistor and see what it's got for value. Make sure it's actually at 560K. All right, the resistor tests out good, so that's still at 560. Let's resolder that, and we'll see if just reflowing the solder onto the board does the trick. Fortunately, there's not too many other things I can do with this particular board, since there's not much on it as far as electronics, and everything's built into the system on chip. It might just be that it's running fast for some other reason. Something's failed. The board's gone slightly strange. It was like that from the factory. Who knows? There's probably a lot of answers for that question, but I think the resistor controls it, and resoldering it is probably the only one that we actually could change. So, and here we go. I've done pretty much the only repair I could do, replacing that resistor, or in this case, just resoldering it. The solder on that joint did seem pretty iffy, so I had trouble getting it back on there. It seems to be soldered in place now. Let's see if we have any difference on the speed on these things. All right, moment of truth to see if they work. Here we go. Let's see if I can start these up without accidentally dismounting them from the case. And the one on the left are repaired, and it works. So it was that resistor causing the slowdown. Well, that's good, because it's the only part we could replace. And Successful repair. Awesome. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.